Hey everybody, welcome to a new Predator season. Got a lot of stuff going on this season, some major changes, which I'm sure you guys have already heard. I want to introduce you guys to the co-owner of the Orlando Predators, Mr. John Chain. John, welcome. Welcome to the Predators, man.
I'm excited, buddy.
People have seen out there your face and a little bit about you, but they didn't know who you are, and what we're doing this season. Well, I mean, you guys are used to turning into to Pred Talk on Monday nights. We're changing it up a little bit. We're going to be doing a one-on-one with Mr. John Chaney and head coach Ben Bennett, correct?
Yes. Well, John, we're going to run the new clip, the intro, and then I'll come back and explain. Go ahead, Johnny, run it. Hey, we're back.
We're back.
So anyway, hey, first of all, let me get something straight here. Today's our first show.
First show, very first show.
We're gonna have some faboos, okay? And we're gonna do this during the season. We're gonna bring Pat from Pred Talk. I'm gonna be on. We're gonna ask questions to people who can send in, right?
Yep.
They can text in questions.
They're already
on
texted
Facebook.
in.
They're already sending.
They're already
stuff.
texted in.
They're like, oh boy, right? So they're already sending stuff in, and then we're gonna have a show here at the Ace Cafe, go along during the season, and then me and you are gonna hang out and talk. And the coach, he's going to get here around 8:30,
right.
After practice. They're practicing.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk, break down live about the game, what kind of fun we had, and how the game went, and what to look forward to next week.
So let me ask you a question. So you're sitting down here with head coach Ben Bennett.
Yes, sir.
And you're going to be breaking down as far as how the game went.
Stats, talk about things that, I don't want to go into the stats because I want to talk to him about it.
Right. No.
We're going to go over
absolutely.
stats, we're going to go over players, we're going to go what he expected, what he didn't expect, football. Because let me tell you a little bit about myself. I coached for 28 years. I've been around football all my life. I'm a football junkie, okay? I've coached on a Thursday, on a Friday, on a Saturday, went to see UCF on a Saturday night, went to the Jaguar game on a Sunday, and flew up to see a Jet game on Monday. So I'm a football nut, okay?
Yes, sir.
And I like, they wrote a little article about me, being a co-owner with Nate,
right.
And I just want to make everything better. These guys, I'm Crazy John on Cycle Fever TV. These guys know me that no matter what I do, I put in 110%,
yep.
And I just try to make everything better. I don't make it, well, I do have a patent, but a whole other story, but I don't make it, I make it better. You know what I mean? I try to figure out where we're going wrong, what we need to do, what we can do to help the players, fans, the excitement. This year, we're going to have an exciting season at the Amway Center. We're going to have pyrotechnics. We're going to have bands. It's going to be a fun time. Now, and I don't want to keep saying we're going to go back to the old days and stuff like that, because this is our era. You know what I mean? We have new players. We have new coaches. A lot of things. I think the fans they're ready.
The fans are ready, without a doubt. They've been ready. Some of the questions already has popped up there. Nick Green, one of our Pred heads, longtime fan, Milton Magic. Milton. You know a lot of these guys. Nick Green wants to know, where's his invite? First show, Nick. It's the first show, brother.
Hey, Nick, and the rest of the Predator fans. We love you guys. Okay, hey, like I'm a little aggravated still about these bands that I had to give out You know what I mean?
You want to tell the story about? I gave you bands in the 2019 season. I gave you these wristbands.
So Pat gave me 2 bands, and I went to Dexter's. Okay, we went to Dexter's to hang out after the game.
Yep.
Well, there's loyal Predator fans.
We've got
that
some.
is awesome, and these girls flipped out because I had those 2 bands on it, you know, and you guys gave them to me because Cycle Fever. We bring the dancers out onto the field.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we do the show, and then we did the halftime show, and of course I had 2 of them, the bands, and when they saw my bands and my pin, they lost their mind. And I was like, here, you can have them. They were like so excited, flipping out. You know, we had a great time, but there's loyal fans out there.
We've got some very loyal fans still to this day, and more new fans are coming all the time. But I got to tell you, you guys, I have not. Every time I see John, he tells me about the wristbands. Man, these ladies got my wristband. I want to stop your whining right now, and I want to give you 2
all right,
more wristbands.
They're mine.
So you have them.
So now I have it.
Don't
okay,
give those
I'm not
away.
giving these 2 away, but I'm sure we're going to have something to give away.
We'll have more to give away at the game, and different promotions and post parties and pre-game parties and all that good stuff.
All right.
But I wanted to make sure that I gave you those tonight on your first show.
There you go.
The Breakdown Live.
I have them forever now.
Absolutely.
And then, I know you guys give them out. We're going to be giving out. We're going to be doing a lot of things. I'm excited. It's kind of hectic right now. I'm learning a lot.
Sure.
Like I said, I've been around football for a long time, but this is a whole nother thing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Especially with, we want to make the experience fun. And everybody who knows Crazy John from Cycle Fever, or me personally, they know I want to have fun too.
Without a doubt.
I promise you, it will be fun. I guarantee it. And I actually even said to the players, look, you got to have a good time. You got to have fun doing what you're doing.
Without a doubt.
Every time I talk to anyone that I would coach or anything, I would say, look, if you don't have fun, you're not going to be good at it. You have fun doing anything you're doing, you'll get better at it, and then it'll make an experience. And that's what we're going to do at the Amway this year, and I'm really excited, especially for our first home game. But hey, it was great in Columbus. We'll go into that with Coach Bennett. But what else you got for me?
What else we got? Well, just so you Pred fans know, I know we've arranged it. Thank you, Milton Magic, Staten. Arranged it for the pre-game party.
Yes.
Before the game over at Harry Buffalo's.
I heard that.
Reserve
Today,
a spot.
I think I saw a post.
Yep,
today.
reserve a spot right up front where you guys normally are, right in the front of the bar, so that whenever it's game time, you just get out the door, head right on over to the Amway Center. As far as a party on the street, I'm not sure. What do you guys got anything lined up yet?
Here's what I'd like to say to some of the fans, right? Send in some information that things that you guys like at the Amway Center that we did. You know what I mean? I'm not reinventing the wheel. You know what I mean? I'm not reinventing the wheel. But look, if you have a lot of people that enjoyed something, that's one thing you're bringing back. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We want all the things that people enjoyed, and then we can bring back. That's going to be exciting. This year, we may have a little issue with the COVID. Okay, we're only at 50%. Okay, we're not going to allow. We cannot allow the people on the field after the game, but maybe we'll have the players walk around, with a certain distance, talk to the people, and walk around the stadium at the lower level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do that. But we get one COVID test, it's going to cause havoc. So for this year, but next year, you're bet. I know. I love that the kids got to go on the field. I mean, I think you saw. Who was it that played musical chairs or Duck Duck Goo? It's just an experience that you don't really get with professional athletes.
No. You just don't see that in the NFL. This is when you run on the field, you get arrested. Not in arena football. But due to COVID restrictions and everything else, like you're saying, you know, it's there. It puts a little damper on the after on the field experience. All right, that's for this season. But let me ask you a question. In the past, they've had an after party. Are we working on that? We got something lined up for that?
We're working on that now. You know, a lot of stuff happened for me in a very short time.
I know.
One of them was phone call.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
I just want you to know I got involved because of Pat. Okay.
He's either gonna love me or hate me. One of the two.
It's gonna be. He said I didn't put the pen in the hand, but look, he drove it through the top, and everything else is history. But hey, I want to tell you, if it wasn't for Nate Starling being the co-owner, I wouldn't have done this. Nate is going to do everything top shelf.
Without a doubt.
To be honest, he's going to get things done. We're not going to have nothing like in the past.
No.
Everything is
Well, we're going to bring a lot of the positive things from the past back.
Yeah. No.
Street parties, things like that.
That's why I want people to let us know what you really enjoyed. You know, we have a bus going up to Jacksonville. You know, a $30 bus. Okay, check it out right there. You'll see it on the screen. You got a $30 that you can get a bus ride to Jacksonville and a ticket. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Are you kidding me?
There's a website on there. Contact that website. $30. You're going to the Orlando Predators Jacksonville Sharks game in Jacksonville. The game is this Saturday night at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
You get the bus at, it reads it right up on there. I'm drawing a blank right now. Friendly Confines on Curry Ford and Conway, right in that area right there. Contact the number of info on the screen. $30, you could go to drive your bus rides to Jacksonville.
And a ticket. That's
party
what
at
a ticket.
the game, and they're bringing you back home for $30.
A luxury select bus. Select bus is our bus. They're our transportation.
That picture
and,
you see right
they
there
get to look at that.
Is the bus. That's amazing.
That's going to be a good time.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Marilo Bianco in here says the one that played Duck Duck Goose on the field was Kamari Rhino Alcorn, one of our defensive linemen in the 2019 season.
And I remember you used to talk about it all the time. And say, you know, and I talked about it the first time I went to see a Predators game. You know, I do college, Auburn, and NFL, and all that. First game I went, there was a band on one side, there's a DJ on the other. There's a football game in the middle, right? And everybody's having fun and having a party. And you need to bring the kids. I was pretty impressed from that day on. You know what I mean? I tell everybody about it. Now, my thing is, I live over in Volusia County, in Port Orange area, and I would tell everybody about it. Now, you know, the Predators got in there late in the 2019 season.
Yes.
So when they got in there late, they didn't get to advertise and do all that. And, you know, the people in Volusia County had no idea. Like, I would say something about, I'm going to Pred game tonight. They're like, they're back?
They're back?
Yeah. So, this year again, a lot of stuff is happening late, and COVID has created a bunch of it, you know.
Yeah.
But I guarantee next year you'll see a billboard somewhere. You'll see announcements, because we have all summer. We're going to be blowing this thing up, and I just want everybody this year to come and have a great experience and tell everybody else. You know what I mean? Tell everybody, and that's how it's supposed to be.
I mean, we as the Orlando Predators are doing what we can to get it out there. But we need you, the fans, too.
Yeah.
Tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell your friends. The Predators are back. You know, season tickets are still available. You know, call in, get your season tickets now. Get in there for that first home game. And I stand corrected. it's not at Friendly Confines. It's at Graffiti Junction on Curry Ford.
There you
and
go.
Graffiti Junction. Thank you, Magic. I appreciate that. Told you.
And I'm glad you love this. I should put this over here, to be honest with you, so you can see it better. I mean, that's where it should be.
That's why I pulled it up.
We'll do it that way next time.
You're doing,
but hey,
you're doing great.
we're going to get through some things right now. And, you know, this was a last minute thing. I want everyone to know when the season's over, Pat will be back at Fish on Fire, okay, doing Bread Talk.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
this way we'll keep building up Bread Talk there. Here, we're going to do, it's going to be more coach talking.
Coach talk, yeah.
And that's why I call it the Breakdown Live. And this way I can go over with the coach how we did, how we didn't do. And I was at the game. I was pretty excited. You know, matter of fact, here comes the coach walking in now.
I know.
Which is awesome. 8:15 early.
Love it.
Look at that. So I don't know if you want. We should bring the coach on now and talk, and then we can bring you back on.
These people see me all the time. They want to hear about the
You
game.
see that all the time. What we'll do is we're going to throw it to a commercial, right? And then when we come back, I'll be on with Coach Bennett. And then when Coach Bennett's done, we're going to throw it to a commercial. And then you're going to come back on, and you're going to go over the questions. And by that time, that'll be over there for you.
Some of these questions may be for the coach. So you, the fans,
yeah, you can yell from
get
over
those
there.
in there. I will. I'll follow it. And
you handle that.
you guys got some questions, you key them in, right? You know, key them in as Coach Ben Bennett and, you know, John's is questioning me, and I'll throw them out there, and we'll get your questions answered. All right.
All right, throw it to the commercial, John.
Good.
As a NASCAR Hall of Fame driver, I appreciate the best. The best engineering, the best design, the best experience. That's why I ride a Harley, and that's why I wear a hog watch. Simple to install, the hog watch actually is my key fob. With style and precision, the hog watch lets me get on and ride. Hog watch. Freedom never looks so good.
Here we are. I'm here with Coach Bennett from the Orlando Predators. Hey, John, you got a little clip you're going to play for me? I guess not, maybe. You're going to throw it to the clip? I think it's a.
Uh-oh.
I think it's a it's a throwback. I think.
It would have to go way back here. Is this the one with the leather? Is this the one with the leather helmet?
No. You know, it's not working. Oh, so we were going to. I was going to bust your chops because, you know, I watched some of your old stuff.
Right.
Okay. 14,000 yards passing. I think it was the bowl with the 8 or something, and they call you out there, and you're a young guy.
Oh yeah. I had hair. It was skinny. It was unbelievable.
So to tell you, look, today's our first night show. Okay. We were gonna bring it on. I go, this ain't the same guy told us coming on. It is the same
Yep,
guy.
same dude. Same old dude.
So, Coach, how did it feel to be in the stadium?
I gotta tell you, there's a lot of good feelings in the world. You know, when you have a child, you know, maybe when you get married. Although I don't know because I've never been married. You know, when you pass the bar, things like that. But there is no feeling like we had the other night. Getting a team back together after so long being in the dark, being on the field and actually being back in the fight. God, I can't begin to tell you how good that felt. It was just, I got goosebumps talking about it.
I got goosebumps because I saw the way you guys were looking, and then just looking up into it was amazing with no one there.
Yeah, and they, you know, they have worse restrictions than we do, and they had a bunch of people that showed up, and it was, even though there really wasn't a whole big crowd there, you were playing football against somebody else, and there was somebody watching.
Yes.
And it was just, even if the stands have been empty, the competition between us and them, it was, God, it was a neat feeling. And it was nice that you guys are right there, and you're seeing what's going on.
Oh, yeah. the players, how do you think they felt? Because I saw that.
You know, they were as enthusiastic as I thought they'd be, and I think the one thing that they did, they were so excited to be out on the field, they were like dogs in a fight. They were just
holding
you're
them back.
a leash, and they're just like, "Arr, arr, arr, arr." And you know, they were chirping a little bit, but you know, if you've been locked up for 15 months, you can understand it's the dog out of the cage, and you know, for as little as we've been together, and none of these guys, only a couple of guys have played with each other before. Short camp, short preparation for the week, and we still went out there, and we could have scored probably 60 points if we'd have done what we were supposed to do. But we had a couple little hiccups. We ran one wrong route. We made a couple wrong reads. And we had a couple of good plays made by Columbus, or else we'd have had a chance. And it just got down to the end of the half. So we're still ahead. All the things that went wrong in the first half, and we're ahead by 3 points at halftime, or going into halftime. And with 4 seconds left, fourth down, they throw a ball up, and we tip it away. But we happen to tip it right to their guy in the end zone.
Yes,
and it was tough to recover from that because they scored a touchdown to take the lead. We came out in the second half, they got the ball, and they went down, they scored, and then we threw an interception. So we put ourselves in a hole that we just couldn't quite dig our way out of. But again, for all the exterior factors, external factors that there were, I was proud with what our guys actually put on the field.
Oh, well, I was ecstatic. I mean, stats-wise, it's pretty much mano y mano, all stats-wise. If you look at all the stats for the game, the only stat that changes everything is fourth down. They were 5 for 5.
Yeah, that killed us.
That changed everything. That changed time of possession.
Yep.
You know what I mean? 5 for 5 was a big deal, but everything else, passing yards, 195 to 219. First downs, rushing yards, and in time of possession, you're talking a 13-minute difference. That was only done by the five first downs.
Well, and the worst part about there's the tip ball right there. We tipped it in the end zone right to their dude.
Oh yeah. And there's heartbreakers like that.
And the worst part, when you pointed out the key stat, was the fourth downs. The worst part about it was we gave them 3 because we jumped offsides. And I told our linemen, I said, there's only one thing that I'm going to yell at you for during the season. I said, as long as you give great effort. I said, if they're in 3rd and 5 or less, or they're at 4th down, if you jump offside, you're gonna get the wrath. And sure enough, 3 of those 5 times we jumped offsides and gave it to them.
And this was their second game.
Yep.
It was our first game. And they were hyper. They were like you said, they were on a leash. The dogs wanted to come out, But as a coach, that you're saying it's fourth down. It's less than 5. You know what they're going to do? They're going to go on a different cadence. They're going to slow it down.
Well,
And
you can hear my voice cracking right now. The two things, and I usually am not a yeller, but I had to yell at the referees, not because of what they did or didn't do. When the ball goes out of the end zone, I want the ball to start to be put on the left college hash. And no matter how many times I yelled, I had to almost walk directly into the middle of the field and yell at him 15 times, put the ball on the left college hash. So you hear my voice crack every now and again. And the second thing was, when it's 3rd down, I'm yelling, don't jump off sides. And it was like they said, oh, coach said to jump off sides. Whoop. We had 12 penalties in the game. It's killed us. Absolutely killed us.
So, player-wise, there was a player that you were ecstatic about that just was, I guess, unexpected maybe, or not unexpected, that played unbelievable.
Right, and I got to tell you, the guy that stood out for the entire game was a guy named Josh Jenkins. And Josh is a DB that we signed out of California, and he now lives here in Orlando. I had never seen Josh play. I'd seen him on tape, and he looked pretty good. When he showed up, he was bigger than I thought he was. But this guy is, if he's not the best cover guy in the league, you got to go a long way to convince me who is. Because he was all over the field. He broke up 2 or 3 balls that weren't even thrown to his receiver. He covered that much ground. He was a sure tackler. He came up with a big pick.
Nice hit.
Yeah.
Nice hit.
Kickoffs, I thought he killed a kid. And he picked off a ball in the first half against their quarterback, who was actually Espinoza, who's actually experienced. He's a guy that knows how to do it. And he baited him, and he threw the over, and he dumped in front of it and picked it off. So tackles, interceptions, kick covers. I mean, the guy does it all. And I mean, he was easily the MVP of the game.
I was pretty impressed. You know, after the locker room and you were talking, it was awesome to have a player like that show up. And it's funny because I'll bring this up. You know, one of the things that were tweeted and talked about on in Columbus was that we were going to go over the top. We were weak over the top. We did nothing.
Well,
did I see nothing over the top?
Yeah, absolutely. we gave up 0 long balls, which I was very, very impressed with. They have a receiver named Lonnie Outlaw that had 6 touchdown catches the week before. He just ran everywhere he wanted to go. He ran and scored touchdowns. But Albany also had the same thing. Albany had Darius Prince, who ran all over the field and scored touchdowns, long and short and the whole bit. Our game plan going in every week is not to give up the big ball. Now, we have to play some zones, we play some man, we mix things up. But I tell my guys, if they catch the ball underneath, come up and make the tackle, you're never going to get yelled at for that. But if you try, coach, I was trying to make a play, and you give up the post, and in our game, I would say probably maybe close to 10,000 touchdowns have been scored on the post.
Over the top.
Yeah, as opposed to any of the other routes. And it's a pretty simple game if you just keep them in front of you and make them work the ball down the field. Now, one of the other stats that doesn't show up is they fumbled 3 snaps. They fumbled 3 snaps, and we didn't recover any of them.
0.
We get one of those, and it makes a difference in the ball game. But you know, that's the way it goes. Sometimes the ball bounces your way, sometimes it doesn't.
And we had a great bounce, a tip, and we caught it in the end zone, which was pretty awesome itself. You know, another thing I was amazed at when the gentleman caught the ball over the wall, got tackled. Okay, here it is right here. Well, this is another one. This is the tip.
That's the tip ball.
Yep. That was awesome. He kept his eye on the ball, stayed focused, caught it, and that was a nice 6 right there.
Well, the worst part about that is that's Donovan Raspberry, who's the wide receiver. And Donovan Raspberry from stationary ran right by his guy. The guy that's dropping back and makes the tip is actually the safety that's in the middle. The guy that's I can't see his number, but the guy that's closest to the bottom of the screen, that was the guy that Raspberry beat. So it's the safety that dropped back to help him out. And if we'd have just thrown this thing up and over the top,
a little deeper.
Yeah, we try to throw a line drive rather than drop it over the top. If we just throw it up front or up top, it's an easy touchdown. But the kid made a good play on it, and Raspberry, tremendous concentration to make that catch. So I was pretty pleased to see him get into the end zone.
Now I want to tell the fans out there, when we caught the ball in the end zone and he got hit over the wall and landed on the other side, and they called it no catch. Just for everybody out there, there's no pads on the other side of that wall.
There are none.
It's solid concrete, just in case you want to know.
Well, and that's,
which I was a little impressed that it was like that.
Yeah, one of our receivers found that out. Troy Grant went over the top of the end zone. He actually made the catch, but they said that it was no catch in the back. They had a guy that went over the wall and actually was over top of the wall leaning down, and he used the wall, the back of the wall, to make the catch and then pull it up. Front side of the wall and the top side are legal, but the back side is not, so they called off the touchdown, and Columbus was not happy, but it was the right call.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we had a great time. It was amazing up in Columbus. I'm excited that our first game's under our belt, and I think we did a great job.
Right. We did a lot of really good things for as little as we'd been together. You know, we had difficult time getting practices in occasionally, but the guys worked hard, and I was proud of what they did. They're going to get better, and they need to, because the team we're playing this week, even though Jacksonville hasn't played a game, they were the cream of the crop in 2019, and they've got a lot of good players that they've signed, a lot of good players they brought back. So Jacksonville's going to be a test, but hopefully our guys are up for it.
And they've been practicing a little bit, right?
Luckily, we have 5 days together, and we're starting to get a couple of the AFL vets that we have. Desmond Epps, who was a wide receiver with the Valor, could have been Rookie of the Year in the AFL in 19. He just got in. We're getting some linemen in, and that's really the key. The key to our ball game is the big guys. There's a lot of little dudes that are fast. They can run and catch and do all that.
You need that big body to block.
It's the big dudes to protect your quarterback because, and I've told our guys from the beginning, there's 3 axioms to win a football game, and this is at any level. If you can knock their quarterback down, if you can keep your quarterback upright, and you can win the turnover battle, you've got a chance to win any game that you play. Any game against any opponent. And it rings true at high school, college, pros, when whatever pro league, USFL, XFL, AAF, whatever it might be, and especially in our league, you got to have a tough QB. You got to have a kid that's willing to stand in there and take a shot and deliver the ball. And if you get somebody that can do that, you got a pretty good shot to win ball games.
Well, let's talk about your assistant coaches. You had some really nice guys up there.
Yep.
I was very impressed.
Well, and it's, you know, one of the things that I've tried to do assembling this team, as I have done in the past, when you put together a team, I'm looking for 2 things. First, I'm looking for a guy that can really play ball. You're looking for the guy that can run, that can jump, that wants to be a good teammate. But the second thing is I'm looking for good guys. It's one thing to be able to run a 4.40, but if you're a jerk, I don't want you on the team. And if you're one of those guys that's constantly doing that, we got to get rid of you. It's like that little chihuahua that just keeps nipping at your heels. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just annoying. So I try to find guys that are representative of both our team and me, but especially of the organization, because our organization, we want to, as a whole, we want to be very well represented in the community. We want our guys to be out signing autographs, but whether they're there in appearance or not, when they're out in public, people are going to find out who they are. And I've told them, if you act like you're a pro football player, people will just look at you and go, who does that guy think he is? He's playing arena football. But if you act like a person and you act like a nice guy, and then people find out you're playing football, they go, wow, this guy, I met this guy, and he plays with the Predators, and your horn carries twice as far as somebody else is tooting it. So you don't have to get out there and tell everybody, oh, here's who I am, I play pro football. Because really, people, when you approach people like that, they really don't care very much. But if they say, hey, what a nice guy, and then they find out later on, they go, man, he's the nicest guy in the world, and he plays pro ball. And yeah, that's exactly what it is. So, like tonight, we've got, normally this is at Fish on Fire.
Correct.
But we decided to move here to Ace, and I'm happy to be here. Good home. Fish, we still love you.
Yep.
But
coming back.
Yeah,
coming back.
Yeah, we are. But the guys are actually eating up there tonight. So Jay, even without the podcast, is feeding our guys. Jay being the owner of Fish on Fire. Oh. And so Jay's feeding our guys tonight. You guys better be well behaved, or else it's death.
All right. Anything else you want to say about the upcoming game?
Yeah, I had an old coach tell me one time there's going to be blood and bodies all over the field. We're just kind of hoping most of them aren't ours. So it's going to be interesting because Jacksonville didn't come into the league until after I was done playing. But the Orlando-Jacksonville rivalry in this league has turned into what Orlando and Tampa used to be back in the days of the AFL. It's kind of the war on I-4. Jacksonville's going to have a good team. They're going to have a good crowd. But I'll take our fans over their fans any day. And hopefully we go up there and put on a good show and come back with a win.
And I know in a couple weeks we're going to be putting on a real good show at the Amway.
Absolutely.
So, Pat, you got something? Anybody asking?
Yeah, this is a question
for the coach.
I don't know if his dad answered already, or he brought it up. How do you prepare for Jacksonville, who hasn't played a game yet? There's no game film to study. How do you get your players ready for Jacksonville?
Well, it's kind of a guessing game, but in my case, it's an educated guessing game. Their old head coach was a former Orlando Predator named Cy Burley, and he won the championship in 2019. Unfortunately, he asked for a whole lot of cabbage because he won, and they replaced him with a guy named James Fuller. James Fuller's an NFL guy, has been in our league a long time, and James is a really good coach. He was their defensive coordinator in 2019. Leopards don't change their spots very frequently, so I have a pretty good idea. There's only so much you can do in arena football anyhow, offensively and defensively. It's just a matter of how you execute your offense against their defense. So I have a pretty good idea of what I think Fuller's going to do most of the time. Offensively, I don't know who the new guy is that they brought in and what his philosophy is, but again, there's only so much you can do in the indoor game. and we do a lot of it. And so as long as they're prepared for our guys, they should be prepared for their guys.
Bringing that up to answer a question, I used to coach at different levels, the lower levels, Punk Warner, high school and things like that, 8-on-8. And we used to kick butt sometimes, and they would say, your plays are, and I said, here, you can have my playbook.
Right.
It's not the plays.
That's exactly
It's not the plays. It's the guy out there executing the play. If you have a quarterback that's not listening to you, different things.
You hear that, Hicks?
Deep, go shallow, you know what I mean? You don't want to score the big touchdown all the time, all that kind of stuff. But if you follow the playbook and everybody learns, it's hard to stop. There's teams out there that run like 6 plays, 5 plays. But guess what? Stop them.
Yeah. Well, just to give you an idea, when we went into this game, I had about three-step passes. I think I had 3 5-step passes. I had a couple of quick screens. We had one little gimmick play that actually went for a touchdown to Des Maxwell, and that was about it. Unfortunately, when we went into the game, what we said we wanted to do defensively was to stop Mason Espinoza from throwing the ball deep. So we said, make him be patient, make him throw the ball underneath. And he did that. Unfortunately, our guy, we were trying to throw the ball underneath, and when we had the open deep one, take that one. But we forced a couple balls down the field that we probably... one of them, we had a double post. We had Rob Jones in motion. He comes down, he goes to the post, and both guys run back on him. And DJ Myers runs the crossing route, and there wasn't anybody within 10 yards of him. And all we got to do is just push it over the jack linebacker. He's going to run 35 yards for a touchdown. And we had that on a couple of occasions.
But that's another thing with a first game. You're excited.
Happens.
You're trying to go deep all the time, trying to get the big hitter.
Yep.
You got another one, Pat?
Yes, sir. From Nick Green. At the 1-minute warning at the end of the first half last week, why did you decide to kick deep versus a potential onside kick to save the clock and not allow Columbus to potentially score as late as they ended up doing?
And that's a good question, and it's a strategy question. Our kicker is from Mexico and has been in town a grand total of 4 days at that point. We hadn't had much time in camp to work on special teams, and so I just didn't feel real confident trying to run an onside kick with a bunch of rookies and a brand new kicker. So I was kind of the opinion, if we kicked it deep and just played defense the way we were playing, they were going to bleed the clock. Now the problem is they bled the clock down, and we got them exactly where we wanted them to be. We tipped the ball. We tipped the ball on 4th down, but we tipped it to them. So the strategy worked. We ran out the clock. We did everything we wanted to do. We just missed by that much.
What?
Maxwell Smart missed it by that much.
Hey, and that is the first time the kicker ever kicked inside.
Yep.
Was there that day on the field.
First time he's ever kicked on American soil. I mean, there was a lot of firsts about him. First time I've ever seen a kicker not wear socks. First time we've ever paid a kicker in pesos.
There's another one here. It says Jacksonville, you touched on it, but it says Jacksonville seems to have taken over the rivalry where Tampa was. Talk about Jacksonville and the impact that they've had in arena football.
And they really have. Since the days of Les Moss, who was a former AFL standout. He'll be in the Hall of Fame someday. Les's father was Perry, who coached me in Orlando for many, many years. Les went over there and actually won a championship when the AFL was around. So they've been a pretty solid team. And in the NAL, unfortunately, last year we played Jacksonville 4 times, and they beat us all 4 times. And I'd like to tell you that some of those games were close, but they weren't. They really just weren't. Now, I was only there for 2 of them. And the first one, we scored 7 points. The second one, we scored 20 points for the reasons we talked about earlier. When I got here in 2019, in game number 5, we had 2 true offensive linemen and 2 defensive linemen playing offensive line. In the first game, one of the linemen got hurt. So we had 1 true offensive lineman and 2 defensive linemen. In the second game, that kid got hurt as well. So, I mean, we were playing with guys that were out of position, unfortunately, against the team that had the best pass rush in the league. So we almost had to throw almost all quick screens because we couldn't even protect on a three-step. And a three-step is like 1, 2, 3, boom, ball comes out of your hands.
Very quick.
And, we got balls tipped and we got the quarterback hit. And it just, Brian is not that mobile to begin with. But when you've got 275-pound guys hanging on him, he becomes a lot less mobile. So they were the cream of the crop as far as defenses went, because they were well coached and they had the pass rush that they needed, and that's the key to this game.
Well, I got one thing for you. So I heard a team you helped coach, they lost the game 88 to something. And then you came on there and played the same team that year and beat them.
Yep. So I'm back.
You gotta figure that out.
Yeah.
88 to something.
88-13. So I'm back at Duke, which is my alma mater, and I'm coaching with one of my very best friends, a guy named Carl Franks, who was the head coach at the time. He also happened to be my tight end for 3 years at Duke. So he gets the head job, and while I'm up there, the Greensboro team, which is about 50 minutes down the road from Duke, they had an AF2 team. Well, the guy that was the head coach at the time had some arena experience, but he never coached. So it was him at the top and then a bunch of high school coaches underneath him. They were getting beat, and I mean getting beat silly. So the guy who ran the arena ended up talking at the ACC Coaches Convention, talks to Carl and says, hey, listen, would you mind if we borrowed Ben during the summer to help us over here because we're not doing very well? He says, well, I don't have a problem with that. Once he's done recruiting, which was in May, he says he can come over and help out as much as he wants to. So I agreed to it because during the summer in college football, there's not a whole lot to do. So, I mean, you got to recruit, but again, you can do most of that over pretty quickly. So in the 4 games while I was on the road recruiting, they lost 69-13. They lost 67-7. The only touchdown they scored in that game was they got a sack and the kid fumbled the ball back into the end zone. They recovered it, so it was a defensive touchdown. They lost 103-3. Then they lost to Arkansas 88-13. So by the time I got there, they were just delirious. They were like, "Oh my God, we'll never do
what we do."
And so I went in, and because I was still coaching at Duke, I could only be a consultant. I couldn't actually be a full-time coach. So I walk into the first meeting, and there's 4 high school coaches sitting there with pens and pads, just looking at me.
Ready?
I was like, what?
What are you writing down?
And the head coach is looking at me. He goes, look, I know high school football. He goes, but I don't know any of this stuff. So what I did, and this is not an exaggeration, in the first game, I had 2 pass plays that were 3 steps. I had 2 pass plays that were 5 steps, and I had a run. So I had 5 total plays. We ended up playing a team that made the playoffs that year, and we lost 48-44. And if my quarterback had done, on the last play of the game, if he had done what I told him, he would have thrown the ball underneath to the guy who ironically is now Columbus's head coach, Jason Gibson, and he'd have run for a touchdown.
He's the one that was telling the story.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So he ended up throwing the ball up, the backside corner fell off, and he picked it up, but we lost 48-44. But so fast forward, I think we won 5 out of 7 games or something like that, with a team that had gotten beaten 103-3. Same guys. So we go into the last game. We're playing Arkansas, and Arkansas at that time was 8-7, and they needed to win that game, the game against us, to go to the playoffs. Now the kid was the quarterback for Arkansas, had thrown 9 touchdown passes in the game against them the first time. Now, their whole team is standing in midfield. They're grabbing stuff and taunting us. And I remember hearing that kid say, I'm going to throw for 12 touchdowns, and that will run you guys out of the building. And our guys wanted to get up and chirp. I said, fellas, save your energy. I said, if you ever watch dogfights, which I'm not an advocate of, if you ever watch dogfights, they're not barking at each other. They're saving their energy because they want to kill the dude that's in front of them. So I said, you just stay patient. I said, we're going to kill these guys. So the kid comes out, first series, we run a little gimmick defense that everybody in arena runs. This kid was just looking to throw the home run, like you were talking about. He was looking to throw, and he threw it right to our guy. Yep.
Want to go deep.
So hitting our guy right in the chest, interception. Third series, he comes back, tries to throw it deep, hits our guy right in the chest again. He threw 3 interceptions in the first quarter and maybe like 1 series. Then he said he was hurt, so he quit. We ended up beating those guys by 3 touchdowns.
A team that they lost to
88-13. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, and it's because arena football is a pretty basic game. If you can run your offense better than they run the defense, you got a chance to win. And so we just ran some basic stuff that they weren't running when they were before I got there. Arena football is simple, but you have to know what makes it simple to get there. And the coaches that were there previous just didn't understand that. And a lot of the things that they were doing have been tried in arena football for years and didn't work, so people don't do them anymore. And there's a reason why they don't do them, because they don't work.
They don't work.
I mean, can you imagine being on a team that gets beat 103-3?
Amazing. But you went in there and changed everything that quick, and I'll tell you what, I'm glad you're our head coach.
I'm glad to be here, man. Like I said, a lot of blood and bodies. Hopefully not all of them are ours.
You know, and I'm excited that these fans are excited, and that we're going to have an experience again at the Amway Arena in 2 weeks. If you can come up and make the game to Jacksonville this weekend, get on the bus. I mean, for $30, you're getting a bus ride to Jacksonville and a ticket.
And I believe that bus is leaving from Graffiti Junction, if I'm not mistaken. Casey? I'll have to check with Casey.
Yeah.
Casey.
Yeah, they're over there.
Oh, yeah, they're over drinking where we should be.
What was that?
Casey, the party bus is leaving from Graffiti Junction, right?
Graffiti Junction, Curry Ford,
Okay.
3 p.m.
Right.
3 p.m.
Right, so it's 3 p.m.
There you go.
Graffiti Junction, and it's the one on Curry Ford and Goldenrod Road. So if you guys have never been there, they've redone the whole thing. It used to be a place called Piper's, which was nice, but since they've gutted it and redone it as Graffiti, it's a great little place. My local watering hole, bartenders Trista, Zaley, Raul. I mean, not that I've been there, but they're a really good
Sounds
group.
like you're there once in a while.
And it's a good group of fans that goes up there, and they all know who I am, and they're big arena football fans. So you guys will have fun going there, and it's again $30 round trip to go watch a ball game in Jacksonville. You can't beat it.
Can't beat it. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on. We're going to be doing this.
Wait a minute.
What?
I'm reading this. It says June. No, it is June 12th. Okay, I'm thinking of the home game. Yeah, June 12th.
Yeah.
Okay, good work, Casey.
Yeah, the 19th is the home game.
That's right. See, I've been knocked out or concussed 14 times in my career, so
It's
the
all right.
little things start to slip
Hopefully
by me.
you don't have to put on another helmet.
You know, and here, people ask me that all the time. They go, "Can you still play?" The answer to that is absolutely not. But
No.
I have dreams at least 2 nights a week where I'm back out, and if it's a good dream, I'm playing and I'm throwing and I'm doing the whole thing because I still love the game. Just between the 14 concussions, the bulges and herniations in the discs in my neck and my back, the knees, and the fact that I'm old, you know, it's like Indiana Jones said in the first Indiana Jones movie, said it's not the years, it's the mileage. The odometer on this one's turned over a couple of times, so I'd love to play, but I just can't do it.
Well, we're done with Columbus, so and now we're getting to Jacksonville.
I like the send-off. Pshaw! That was beautiful.
Going to Jacksonville. So, all right, I appreciate you coming on to the Breakdown Live, and we'll catch the game this weekend, and then we'll be back here next Monday.
I will be here next Monday with bells on. Thank you, Johnny. And like I said, let me say publicly how happy we are that you've joined our ownership group along with Nate Starling. And listen, I know most of the owners in the other league, and they're good guys, but I can't think of 2 guys I'd rather have rally behind than you and Nate. I mean, you guys are salt of the earth. You're so ingrained in the community, and you want, like I do, like everybody else does that's been associated with the Predators, you want this thing to be good. You want it to go back to what it was, and that starts with a good product on the field. It starts with good kids playing a game. Hopefully your head coach doesn't keel over and have a heart attack at some point. But really, it's guys that are dedicated to the team and dedicated to the community. That's huge for any pro franchise, especially one that's trying to rebuild like we are. So thank you for being here, and thank you for having me.
And we're going to help you get with the tools that we can give you. And fans, come on out, support us, and have a great time. Thanks for watching the Breakdown Live. We'll catch you next week. Done, Johnny.